Hello, welcome back to X-Plane 11. Thank you very much for joining me in this video. Today we are going to be looking at the installation and probably a bit of a review of X-Plane 11 HD Mesh Scenery V4. This is a scenery or mesh scenery, so it changes a whole bunch of stuff. In fact, I tell you what, before we even go into the introduction, let's go to the features so that you can see exactly what it changes. HD Mesh Scenery V4 can be seen as a vastly improved version of the default scenery shipping with X-Plane 11. It's using or referencing the exact same set of artwork files, so textures, object, autogens, forests, which ship with X-Plane, so you don't need any other art assets to be installed, whilst HD Mesh 4 or Mesh Scenery V4 will also benefit from any artwork improvements coming with future XP11 versions. The most important advantages of HD Mesh Scenery V4 are the triangle mesh resolution is far higher than the default mesh and even a bit more above the level of the previous HD Mesh, so that's obviously something we haven't had a look at. So this gives you better elevation data and representation of the slopes and the mountains, but it also vastly improves the land class data representation, so this is going to be most obvious with forest detail, as it says. The vector data simplification is less aggressive, so you're going to have some more curves on the roads. Now, I did mention this when I was looking at the SimHeaven VFR objects. When I was looking at that and I was flying around, I did say that I'd be getting to sorting out the roads and the railroads. So this is how we're going to do that, and the rivers as well, shorelines. Obviously, where the raw data is bad, it's not going to help. Also has a new high buildings feature included, which sorts a few things out. Now I'm wondering if this sorts out those tall buildings that I seem to have found in certain areas that I don't think are supposed to be there. So I wonder if that fixes a whole bunch of stuff out. And the OSM data is updated. So as you can see, its date stamp is the 1st of October 2017, which makes it much newer than the current default mesh. So this is going to be pretty good. And I am going to be showing you how to install it, how to configure it, how to set it up in the custom sceneries. And we're also going to be having a look at a before and after. So make sure you stay tuned for the next, well, for the rest of this video for that. Right, okay, we're loaded into the airport of choice, which is Echo Golf November X-Ray. So what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be very, very quickly just taking off, and we're not going to do anything special. We're just going to take off. We're going to fly over the Ratcliffe Power Station, then we're going to head over and fly over Derby and just have a look around at the forests that are around. So obviously around Nottingham as well, you've got the Sherwood Forest, you have the National Forest, and then we're going up towards the Peak District. So we're just going to do this very, very quickly. That being said, for some reason the aircraft didn't want to... There we go. That's more like it. Positive rate. Gear up. Flaps can come in. So we're just going to have a quick look around once again, as we've done before. We've done this beforehand. There we go. Alright, might as well just activate the heading hold. There we go, done. That should keep that under control for us, whilst we keep the climb under control. So there's the power station, there's the M1, there's the A453, there's the roundabout. So we've seen all this area before, of course. And let's turn in this way very quickly. Like so. So there's one of the train lines. You can actually see the train down at the bottom. And we're going to be going pretty fast. And all I'm doing is I'm just having a look at the scenery at where things are currently. That's what I'm having a look at. Nothing more. We're going to climb up a little bit, and what we're going to do is we're just going to head over in that direction. You can see the hills out there? We're going to just head over in that direction. It's not going to take us more than 10 minutes to get there. So you can have a good look around the area. In fact, I'm actually going to give us a bits more on the prop so we can pick up a bit more speed. Alright, let's head over in this direction now. There we go. So we're going to have a look, take a close look at these things, because this is what the HD mesh hopefully should be changing. So we're looking at these, we're looking at the way the scenery is displayed, the rivers, maybe the curves of the train line a little bit, things like that. We're not going to be landing back at the airport. There's the airport. We're definitely not going to be landing back at the airport. We're actually going in this direction. So this here is the city of Derby. And then we're going to be, this is the start of the Peak District. And that's where we're going to be flying. We're just going to do it, like I said, for another 5 or 10 minutes, I guess. I suppose 2,500 feet should be safe, but perhaps not. See, I'm wondering if it fixes things like this. Can you see some really weird sort of river shaping there? I'm just wondering if it's going to fix this sort of odd river shaping. And I hope it does, because that would be really, really cool. And obviously we're looking at this forest area, and I'm trying to look at areas where maybe it doesn't look quite so right. Obviously this is with the Sim Heavens VFR landmarks as well. So this is improved already upon the default, but we want to see, what we're trying to see is we're going to see how much further it improves it, because the VFR landmarks is literally just adding things around in the correct places, whilst this is actually changing the land class data. You can just see the hills there. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go into altitude hold now. Just over 3,000 feet, and we are going to pick up some speed very quickly and head over into the Peak District. And this is where I really want to see a few things. So you can see the rivers going through this place. So I believe that's supposed to be the city centre, which doesn't look all too... I'll be honest, that doesn't look all too accurate. That doesn't look all too accurate at all. At least not from what I remember. This area makes sense, yeah. I know this area. Definitely know this area. It's supposed to be a little... Maybe that's the lake that I'm thinking of. Not, this area is just going further out. And then this is the start of the Peak District, so you can see the hills right there. And that's exactly what we're just flying over. We're just going to fly towards those hills. That's our task. Going to lean that mixture. Bring that propeller RPM back. Just going to leave it in full power though. And this is what, like I said, this is what I want to have a look at. So some of the railway lines. Not sure where exactly these go. I guess towards Manchester, perhaps? But you can just see the hills all coming up in front of us. I think this is Matlock. It's Matlock, perhaps? I I think so. Let's turn slightly further up towards that. The Trent VOR is just over on that side somewhere, not too far from where we are. Not sure if we'll be able to. I think it's located just around there. What are those? Little castles. We have plenty of those. Maybe that's interesting. Yeah, I think the VOR is just around here somewhere. Farmhouse. Another church. Another church up there. But you can just see the hills. This is what I want to have a look at. We've got the hills coming up. And that's the important part. So take a good look at what the forest is like around this area. I want to see, does it improve upon this? Does it add more trees in this area? Does it clean up sort of these roads, like that jagged road there, that sort of road there? We're going to see. I'm going to try and fly the exact same route. We're doing a good 100 and 130 knots. So we are going through a pretty high speed. There's a little bit of a castle ruin there. Doesn't look amazing for some reason. The shadowing looks a little bit odd, as you can see when we're zooming in like that. Once we're out like this, it's okay. I wonder if that's got to do with cloud shadowing. Potentially it's got to do with cloud shadowing, I'm not sure. Still taking a good look around. Just a couple of more minutes. We're just going to be over this area and just seeing if there's anything we can see where things look a little bit out of place. Like those roads. See, those roads look very odd. So I wonder if it's going to fix the locations of those roads, for example. I think this may be Matlock Bath, actually. There's another little bit of a castle ruin. Should we have those? Is that the start of the Snake's Pass? Look, very jagged. Potentially. Just taking a look around this area now. Let's go outside. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't look bad, but I'm wondering if there is improvements to be had on this, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. I mean, as you can see, it looks like farmland. It doesn't look completely like England. That's the one thing. It doesn't look completely like England, and I'm kind of hoping maybe it improves that. Like these look very sort of, the patchwork looks a little bit odd at points, and it doesn't seem to smoothly flow between the two. I think the railway goes into a tunnel there, it seems, which I mean would make sense. See some more wind farms out there. Everything seems to look okay in this region, and maybe that looks a bit odd. Doesn't look terrible. So yeah, there we go. That's having a quick look at the start of the Peak District. Obviously that's not much. That's not much to show, but it gives you an some sort of example of what we're looking at with default X-plane scenery with the VFR Sim Heaven VFR landmarks, or whatever it's called. I think it's called VFR landmarks, VFR objects, VFR landmarks. Oh, that's the right one. Installed. So we've got the extra objects, like I said, you saw the castles, the churches, stuff like that, the wind farms. and things like that. But obviously it doesn't make any difference to the OSM data, doesn't make any difference to the elevation, power lines running through there. And obviously we can see some of the roads are a little bit jagged and a little bit odd like that there as well, those bits there. So I'm wondering if there is some way that it can fix that as more of the Peak District going in there. So let's get out of Explain and I'll show you how to install this, and then we'll run the same flights all over again. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to go to the website, which is linked in the description box below. Just go down to download and you can select the areas that you wish to download. So you've got all these tiles available to you. You can see, if you have a look at this, that's where all the bits and bobs are that this mesh actually covers. So for me, I downloaded 4 tiles so far that cover the entire United Kingdom and Ireland, so the entire British Isles. So that's that tile there, that tile there, that tile there, that tile there. That being said, we haven't covered the Shetlands. I think that's Shetlands. I think so. So maybe I should really get that tile up there. But anyway, I've got all of Great Britain and Ireland. So that's the ones I've got. I downloaded them off the isdg.com.au, but you can download it wherever you want. You've got torrents. You can use a BitTorrent client if you want. That's probably the easiest one to do. If you get it from ISDG, it's probably easy, and that will give you basically everything. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Yeah, that's better. It will give you the entire globe, every tile that you've got, I'm assuming, and you can just download it from there, which is probably far, far easier to do. So there is that. Once you've got that, we can go over to this here. So I can go over to my game mods. All you've got to do is I created a new folder called HD Mesh. It's probably easier to do that. There's the 4 zip files that I downloaded with the longitude and latitude written on them. All I've got to do is unzip them and we are left with this. So what we need to do is these files have to end up somehow in our custom scenery folder, which is this one here. So what we're supposed to do, and this is what it recommends, is we create a folder that's going to go at the bottom. Now, we don't have to label it the way they've labeled it. I think that this is probably another way to label it is the way I'm going to. I'm just going to label it HD Mesh 4. So that's all I'm going to do. Once you go in there, you need to create another new folder. This is very important. And you need to write on this Earth Nav Data. And if you don't know how that's spelled or how you need to write it, like that, exactly like that. As a matter of fact, you can probably go ahead and just copy that. You can just copy that name. That will make it easy for you. And paste it. That's all you need to do there. Then what you need to do is you need to grab each one of these. So in each one of these unzip files, you've got this. Just grab that and move that in. There you go. Grab and move. Grab and move. Grab and move. There you go. That's the 4 for me. I can delete those. So that's all done. That's good. Lovely. Now what do we need to do? Well, if you have a look at the custom scenery folder, yeah, we'll reload that. We'll reload that. Custom scenery folder, you can see I've actually made a couple of adjustments to this. What we're looking to do on this is we need to add the next pack. So the way we're supposed to do this is all the original stuff goes first, then the extra scenery, then sort of the add-on packs, then you've got the libraries, then at the bottom is the HD mesh. So what you're going to do is you're going to, for example, copy this file or copy this line if you want, but I'm just going to write it out. There you go. That's it. That's all you've got to do. So basically you just pop that in there and make sure it's at the bottom. That's the correct place to put it. So now you've put it at the bottom. And by the way, these instructions are all somewhere on this. So obviously the person who does this, the creator of this pack, likes putting it as HZZZ, that like that. But that doesn't really matter. And then you can put the Earth Nav Data. I am fairly certain that this can be anything else. this can be called anything at all. And I am going to check, and if it isn't, then I will tell you, but I'm fairly certain this can be anything at all. So we've done that now. So you can see that we've got the nav data, and then you've got the scenery packs INI. What we're going to do is we are now going to check if the installation is correct. So the way you do that is you go back into X-Plane, you load it up, and you will see that there is a log file. Now this log file is just over here. If we go back to X-Plane, you'll see the log file right there. So if I just open up that log file, there's the log file. We are going to be looking for, as you can see how all this is loading, we are going to be looking for some lines somewhere on this log file that read something like this. So the exact name of the installation folder, so for me it's going to be HD Mesh 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to load up X-Plane, go to the same airport, see if it loads in, and then check. I'm not going to show you this part. I'm not going to show you the loading up or anything. I'll just show you the file at the end. Okay, so I've loaded in, as you can hear, the aircraft in the background, and just before I continue, you can just see here, I've typed in HD Mesh 4 on a search, and you can see on line number 955, there we go, those files are loading, so that means that it is loading correctly. So we're going to get into the sim and see what has changed, hopefully lots of things for the better. Okay, once again going for takeoff again, not going to be doing this properly. Just going to be flying around, positive rate, gear up. And I guess flaps can go in too at this point. So we're just going to fly around and see what may have now changed in the local area. Okay. It's going to be kind of difficult to see when I don't have a reference of the other stuff, but we are going to try and figure it out. Right, and let's go ahead and pop this back in exactly as we want it. There we go. Okay, taking a look around. Nothing looks too different here. Power station still looks in place and intact. That being said, the roundabout looks a little bit different, I'd say. Nope, stop it. There we go. That will do it. Just taking a peek around now. Same sort of location. Still trying the same sort of flight. Going to be looking at the same rivers. As a matter of fact, I think the rivers look better. I'm fairly sure the rivers look better. They don't look as jagged. There's the airport. We were looking at these rivers, they were incredibly jagged. There you go. First things first, that has really smoothed out the river in that location. That part there still doesn't look great. I think that may be where we saw the problem. But it does look better. It's a river Trent, right? I think so. It does look better. You can sort of follow the river along better now. So there is that. keep looking around, see what's changed. I'm not sure whether the land class, the actual textures have changed overall. I mean, the shape of that is not as jagged as it used to be, so that's good. Obviously the river still doesn't look brilliant, but it's less jagged. So I'm happy about that. This is the A6, A50, going in A6. Anyway, we're going to continue again. We're going to fly towards the Peak District, 15 minutes, and we'll see if anything's changed on it. Looking at the roads, trying to work out. The roads look less jagged. The roads look far less jagged than they used to. That's actually a substantial improvement. Oh yeah, you know what I wanted to look for? Those two tall buildings. I don't see them anywhere. It wasn't those two, was it? No, that's Nottingham. Trees-wise, trees weren't there before. And trees weren't there before. This was, both of these places were empty, I'm fairly certain. So it does add trees in places as you would expect. I'm afraid I don't know the name of this park. Not from Derby, so. But we'll see. Like I said, we're just going to turn off that direction and just have a quick look and then be done with it. Still, I think it's well worth a download. I think it has changed things. In fact, I'm fairly certain that looks much more like Britain. I did say it needed a bit of work. It's got a bit of that sort of British patchwork back on it. So just going to see. Bring that mixture back. Let's level off at the exact same spots once again. Bring that mixture back. Bring that throttle back. And just very quickly. I know this video has gone on a little bit long, so I'm going to try and make sure it's not too much longer. And let's turn in, actually, let's turn in that way a little bit. I think we're a little bit too far over, that's why. That should do, something like that. So we can have another look outside. This road looks a bit smoother. It's really up there where we start seeing a lot of jagged roads, so that's what I'm looking at. In fact, no, these roads were jagged as well, weren't they? Here's some more roads that were jagged. Some parts are still jagged like that. This part's smoother, that part's smoother. Roundabouts kind of look round. Not perfectly round, not brilliantly round. What's that? Power lines. They look a bit odd. Those power lines there look odd. There seems to be more, it's the elevation data is a little bit more subtle. Ooh, we do have a band there of a tile, which don't like that. But the elevation data is a lot more subtle. It's smoother, the progression is. And you can tell, just there for example, you can see a little bit more in terms of the bumps, and that must be the improvement of the mesh resolution. I'm looking for where that train track, that's where it's going. hills. That's where I think we looked where things were really bad. In terms of jagged edges. So let's turn in and go there. We can follow this river along though. I'm fairly certain we couldn't see the river last time. Unless we were in the wrong place, I'm fairly certain we couldn't see the river. So let's turn in to about a heading of that, and that's where we're going to end the video. So having a look, yeah, look, these rivers were not visible last time. These roads are no longer jagged, that's loud. These roads are no longer that jagged. This area is, so that's not good. But it's much better than it used to be. This bit's a little bit jagged. This is cleaner. It sort of still isn't as, well, I suppose it wouldn't be as patchwork because this is now into hillside. So I guess it wouldn't be as patchwork. There's a railway that's going alongside, and I'm fairly sure that's supposed to go into a tunnel pretty soon. It goes into a tunnel there. Overall improvements, you can see like sort of a ridge line there that you couldn't see before. It does look better. It does definitely look better. Those seem to be slightly higher up than they were. There's a little bit there that maybe didn't look as down as before. That little quarry there, that's where it disappears. Okay, that's where we need to go. So we are in the same area, it just does look different. Let's turn to, for example, there. Yeah, it definitely looks different, and that was where we had a lot of jagged roads, which have now, they're not as jagged. They're definitely, you can clearly see there, they are not as jagged as they were before. So that's fantastic. It does show this HD mesh at work, which I'm really quite happy about as we go into the Peak District. So I'm going to end it there. I think it's definitely an improvement. It's most definitely an improvement. You can see more trees in certain places, smoother roads, and I think one of the biggest things is that the terrain is, there's more variation to the terrain because of the finer detail of the mesh. So that's where I'm going to end it. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on X-Plane 11. Leave a comment in the comments box below letting me know what you think. Don't forget to support me on Patreon, www.patreon.com/ecgadget, and you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/ecgadget. I think that's all from me, and I'll see you guys next time in X-Plane 11.